Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Welcome on into Humans of Twitch. Thank you so much for joining us today for episode 2 of season 2 of Humans of Twitch. We're happy to have you here today. And we have another very special guest for you today, Crub TV. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself, and I will, of course, throw it over to B to introduce themselves, and then we'll throw it over to Crub, and we will go from there. My name is Joyful Jupiter. If you don't know me, I use she, her, they, them pronouns. I am a Twitch streamer, content creator as well. I am queer and Latina, and I love hanging out with y'all every single Sunday. So it's nice to be back. B, good morning. How you feeling? That's true. Oh, wait. I don't think we can hear you, B. I don't think we can hear you. Hold on. Maybe I can hear you in Discord. Hmm. Yes. Let me you unmute. Yeah, let's try it. Let's try it. And I'll just have to deafen. Keep talking. Hmm. Hmm. No, we can't hear you still. We were just here. Hmm. Maybe if okay, hold on. I have a thought. Give me 1 second, everyone. Um, okay, B, try talking. Um, hmm. Try talking, both of you. I don't understand why I would pick up your webcam but not your microphone. That doesn't make any sense. Because it's coming through my desktop and my desktop audio is on here. So, okay, hold on. I have a thought.
Hold on.
Okay, here we go. I think I fixed it. Oh, okay. I think I fixed it.
Okay.
Testing.
Hello, friends. Happy Sunday.
Yeah, I think we got it.
Toasty says hi, Crub. They said they can hear us now.
I think we might just be doubled, so we have to figure out which source we're coming from.
So mute the Ninja link, and now I can hear you through Discord.
Cool.
Yep,
Okay, perfect.
We're good. It was a silly thing, but it's all good now.
No worries.
Perfect.
We made it work.
Welcome to
Alrighty.
producing your own talk show, starring in your own talk show, and figuring things out every Sunday.
Yeah.
Thank you for your patience, everyone. All right. So now, B, if you would like to introduce yourself, we can hear you now.
Perfect. Hello, friends. If you're new here and you don't know me, my name is B. I use they, them pronouns. I am a queer and disabled variety broadcaster here on the twitch.tvs. Begrudgingly sometimes. But I focus on creating very sensory friendly, soft, accessible content. Playing soft games, what's Animal Crossing, Stardew, Sims, that kind of thing, as well as doing like co-working, art, bullet journaling type streams. So that's what I like to do here on this platform, and others as well, in addition to spending every Sunday with wonderful humans like Crub and Joopy. And with that being said, I will lend it off to Crub and give him the so fun, not anxiety producing at all question. Who are you?
It's a big question. Everything and anything. That's I'm the universe and all of its inhabitants. Hi everyone. I'm Crub. I am a Latino variety streamer. I do a little bit of everything here on the funny little Twitch website, from GeoGuessr to The Sims to just generally horrific things that make the audience laugh. I use he/him pronouns, and I'm really excited to be here. I like doing events like this where I get to little. I'm me on my streams, but I am definitely a much more hyperactive version of my everyday self. So it's nice to do shows like this where I can kind of come back down to earth for just a little while.
Just for a moment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, right?
Absolutely. Thanks for hanging out with us today, Grub.
Yeah, thanks for having us. I mean, this has been, I think I signed up for this slot literally like a year ago. So
Yeah,
I've
you
been
did.
looking forward to this for a long time.
Yeah, our
People,
first few guests that we have this year like signed up the longest ago, and we're like sending gentle reminders like, "Hey, we're still doing this a year later. Are you ready?" And so thank you for being here. And we've also changed our time and everything, but things they've always fallen into place, and it's nice to just have a couple hours to hang out and chat on
Yeah,
Sundays.
yeah, definitely. The time slot worked out for me. I stayed up a little too late last night. So starting
same
a little
though.
bit later, ideal, ideal.
I agree. I
I
agree.
think we've discovered that Jupi and I were very afraid to make the change because we didn't want to mess with anyone who had originally signed up at 10 a.m. And there's not been a single soul who wasn't like, no, that's great. Thank you so much. I would have gotten up at 10 a.m., but
Yes, yes, it's definitely ideal. Yeah, yeah, I definitely would have been here earlier if need be, but Saturday night, it's gamer hours, right?
It's
So
gamer hours. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
pro
Yeah.
gamer.
Yeah. I was up late too. And I mean, when we first started the show, I was on the West Coast. And so it would be like 8 a.m. for me when we would do the show
oh
And Jupi's a
gosh,
night owl,
for
so
many months. So now that I'm in EST, it's like we start at 1 p.m. and I'm like, nothing could be better because I can still stay up late for gamer hours and feel
right.
fine for the show in the morning.
Yep, yep, very ideal. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, let's hop into it. I know we have a ton of questions ready for you today. Just a reminder, as I like to tell people every week, we do have questions, but we have really no strict format that we have to stick to. So if there's a story that comes up or a tangent that you would like to go on to tell us about yourself, please do. This is your time for the next 2 hours. We want to get to know you and what makes Crub Crub. So whatever that may be, wherever that takes us, let's just enjoy the journey. But the first question, of course, is how did we get here? What is your content creator origin story? How did you find yourself to stream on twitch.tv?
Uh, really, like I think like a lot of people, the pandemic kind of spurred on just me starting using Twitch. I never used Twitch before before I'd even started streaming myself. I just like a friend of mine had like just been streaming to literally like me and one other friend on Twitch in the past. And I was like, oh, this seems fun. Like I like going to his streams and just talking to him for like 30 minutes while he plays, whatever he's playing, right? Um, and so we chatted and he told me how to set it up. And I got it set up, and I didn't expect anything. I was literally playing like Slime Rancher, talking to myself, but I was like, this is a nice like I used to be a very like cozy streamer. Like I would get like really close to my mic and I would like talk like this and I'd be like, I
oh
love
my
Slime
gosh,
Rancher.
Grub's
Like,
cozy era.
yeah,
Really? I
yeah.
love it.
Yeah, which is really funny because anyone that watches my content now knows that is not at all what it's like now. But yeah, I would talk really softly, hop on the mic, talk a little bit. I didn't expect anything from it, literally nothing. And then when Animal Crossing came out, which was like a couple weeks after I had had my first ever stream, I was like, oh, this like I actually might be able to meet some friends on this. Like it looks like this pandemic thing is gonna last a little while. So I was like, I have a couple weeks off work. I worked retail at the time, and I was like, I guess I'll just try a little, like a smidge harder, just a smidge harder. And ended up meeting a lot of new people. The community started growing, and I was like, okay, this is like seriously a thing that I can do, and it just kind of snowballed from there. I like never, like I always wanted, like as a kid, I always did enjoy like creating things, right? I kind of bounce from art to art, from music to drawn art to digital art. to photography. Like but I had no idea what I could do. I'm the kind of person that just kind of aimlessly wanders from thing to thing to thing without spending enough time to actually really get super good at one thing. So I didn't really, even though I really enjoyed creating, I really enjoyed art. I never had the wherewithal to like really succeed in one specific area. But I always know that I really enjoyed just doing things that would make people giggle. Like I remember, like I always used to like send out like really like out of pocket Snapchat stories. Like when I was in high school, I really enjoyed doing that. You know, I just did like I liked like making like occasionally making a scene like in the best way possible to make people laugh. Like it wasn't a constant thing. I wasn't like a class clown. But I like and I didn't like a constant attention. Like I liked like I like to be the person that would just kind of like that would do something funny like every once in a while. I wasn't like I did, and I wasn't like the person that would like join theater or like be like really in the spotlight, but just like when I wanted like when people noticed me for it to be a positive experience. So I kind of realized that when I got on Twitch, and it kind of like I think the reason that I didn't join theater and I didn't do things like that when I was that were constantly where attention would constantly be fixed on me was because I just wasn't confident enough. I wasn't like I was uncomfortable with people like constantly perceiving me. And that was a problem that I had up until college and when I started streaming. And I think streaming really helped me like gain that confidence of like enjoying being an entertainer while being comfortable with being perceived a little bit more.
Wow. Well, first, I just want to say, like, it's okay to. I feel like we beat ourselves up for like not sticking with something, you know? But I think the fact that you wanted to like try so many different creative things just goes to show like how artistic and creative and like being an entertainer that you are, you know? And you kind of have to go on this creative journey to figure out like what you really really do enjoy doing. So I don't think it's bad at all that like you tried a lot of things and didn't stick with them. I actually think that that's a really positive thing. And you definitely should try theater sometime because like even in just the way that you speak, I feel like I feel this like character energy come out of you. And it sounds like that's really true on your streams as well. So streaming seems to have been like maybe maybe it was the perfect fit for you and that's kind of why you ended up here.
Yeah, it worked out. Like, yeah, people have always said like, "Oh, you seem like an improv guy or something."
Yeah,
I'm
that's what
like,
I was
"No,
thinking.
like, literally, have never
Yeah.
done anything like that," which is so funny. But yeah, like, I think it's something that still bothers me, like to this day. Like, but like even like when I was younger, it's like, oh, man, I wish I could just like put my head down and like learn a skill set and just like be really good at one thing. But it's like looking at it from an outside perspective, I think it is really valuable as a creator when you kind of have a little bit of your foot in like everything because not only does it make you I think a little bit more flexible with your creativity, it also helps you in an area of creation like Twitch, it helps you relate to people a little bit easier because you have something you can say, like I have almost something I can say about like almost every area of interest. Like I can talk about sports, I can talk about anime, I can talk about, it's I know a little bit about everything. And that's kind of it's worked out for me.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's
absolutely.
the jack of all trades kind of thing, right? Like,
Hmm.
Yeah.
you could debate back and forth forever whether it's better to be a master of one skill or, to dip your toes in many skills. And I think it honestly depends on what you're trying to do. But in the realm of streaming, I think that that's actually like a strong suit to have just because it asks like streaming asks you to build upon so many skills at the same time. You're entertaining, you're building a community, you're kind of moderating at the same time, you're on, there's the technical aspects, like it's and it takes a lot of brain cells, more brain cells than I have sometimes. But it works out in your favor to have skills in many different artistic directions, I think.
Yeah, 100% when you're whether it's Twitch or whether it's, any I feel like any kind of endeavor where you're your own boss, right? Like for lack of
Hmm.
a better term, it's good to have kind of that mixed skill set, even if you are really good at drawing and you're selling art or something, right? Like you still need the ability to understand like how to set up a website, how to do social media, how to do technical things, how to relate to your audience, right? And how to engage your audience. And it's difficult if you don't have that background when you're starting out. So I'm glad I'm not having to learn too much of that while I'm taking this journey. Still learn something new
apply.
every day, but it's nice to have a little bit of background in other areas to kind of help out.
Yeah, absolutely.
In your reflection to us, you mentioned that, creative work with the pandemic and everything, kind of like you mentioned, came to you after sort of like ignoring it for a long time. And I thought that phrasing was really interesting to me as I was reading it. Like, I was wondering what you thought maybe that mental block was in pursuing creative, kind of endeavors prior to it finding you now.
Yeah, I know what it is 100%. It was just I didn't want to be cringe. Like that's what it comes down to. Like that's what it was.
Oh,
Like
that?
I was like I was like classic. Like I went to this like little bum frick, private Christian school like when I was growing up and through high school and like it was the most like creatively repressive environment you could possibly be in. You show any kind of personality whatsoever, you get made fun of, right? So like I didn't want to be cringe. Like that was my main thing. I was like, it was 100% self-preservation. And then luckily as I got older, and I think retail really helped me with this because you just like you have to talk to people nonstop. So like you have to be perceived, and you have to if you do let a lot of little personality slip, people actually kind of respond positively to that generally when you're in retail because it's like, oh, this person is like kind of fun to talk to, right? So I think I kind of learned that when I got out of that like really repressive vacuum that I was in, that was like really creatively damaging. And now I have like I am the embodiment of cringe, right? It's fine. Like a cringe culture is dead. Like it feels a lot better now. But that's definitely what the mental block was for me at first was just growing up like in this really like prim and proper like environment where any kind of like dissent was strongly looked down upon.
I would just like to say that I love cringe, so keep being you. Cringe is cringe,
Cringe is
and
good.
cringe is good. And shout out to everyone that grew up in a small town because we all felt that. Yeah,
Yup. Yup.
yeah. And then like the
100%.
religious aspects on top of that. Yeah, it sounds suffocating, is what it
Yeah.
sounds like.
Religious, culturally homogeneous. Like I was very lucky. I grew up the actual town that I grew up in was like I grew up in like a um very urban area, like one of the poorest cities in Michigan, which is where I live. So like I saw like what real life looks like, and then I saw what my school life looked like and what those
What the
people look like.
presented life was.
Yes. So it was really good because I was living a life that was much more closer to the ground, but I kind of got to see what happens when things get a little out of control in terms of people living a very privileged life. So it was actually good for me. I think at the end of the day, I think it kind of really solidified my uh, personality and my more my morality as a whole. Kind of seeing both sides of the coin like that.
Wow.
I'm curious if there was someone else who was struggling with that kind of, because I think a lot of us, whether it's religion or some other factor, just in a society that's very murmur towards artists, I feel like, um, what advice you might have for someone who's still struggling with that element of like, I really want to be a creative person, but I'm sort of afraid of the judgment of other people.
Yeah, 100%. What I would say is you have to like expansion and meeting new people is the best thing that you can do for yourself because if you're in like a very insulated environment, I think that's why so many creative people are so drawn to the internet, right? It's like most, like you said, society is a real life, you know, society. Generally, you're not going to grow up around a bunch of creative artists unless you're lucky enough to live in like a creative district of LA or New York or something, and you're
Yeah.
very lucky, right? Like you're not going to have a lot of like super artistic people that are concentrated and near you. So I think the best thing that you can do, definitely, if you're feeling repressed creatively, is go online and find a community. Find people that you can talk to that will not be super negative towards you expressing your ideas and things, and to constantly keep growing and evolving that way. And even online, like you have to look for people who are creatively aligned with you, right? Because there are a ton of awesome creators. There are a ton of awesome creators that I look up to, but I don't necessarily align with all of them creatively. Doesn't mean I don't like them. Doesn't mean I'm not friends with some of them. But like if you look at like even here, like if you look at like my content and the other Soot Sprites content, like my content is very different than what a lot of them do. So and like so, for some of them are a little bit closer to what I do, and we can have conversations about ideas and things like that. And then some of them I just like as people and I just hang out with, right? And it's good. I can still pick things up from them. So you kind of need to find that balance of people who you just like and are friends, but also people who you like and are friends, but also can kind of push you creatively because they kind of understand what your vision is and they have a similar one.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like we have this conversation a lot, and I think that sometimes people think that like you have to be friends with everyone in this space in terms of like making similar content, engaging with their content, but with how many content creators there are, which we know is like millions on Twitch, it's impossible, you know? So like you said, like focus on your thing, find people that maybe do something similar to you so you can bounce ideas off of, but like it's still very valid to be friends, be connected, be peers, and like your content has nothing to do with each other or it's nothing alike, you know? And that's okay. We want individuality in the space. I hope.
Definitely, absolutely, because that ultimately helps you grow too. Like, right, like even if you are friends with someone and you watch someone's content who's not anything like yours, who knows what you'll pick up? Like, I was watching someone play. I was watching someone play Escape from Tarkov, which is like that is not my content at all, right? It's a game I play off
Yeah.
stream. It's like a bro shooter game, right? I was watching someone play that, and like they had like an OBS widget that I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And like I looked it up, and I'm like, I might add it to my stream. So it's like you never know what you're gonna pick up, even if these people aren't people that are you're talking to constantly, that because you have make similar content and things. It's just valuable. It's valuable to keep that open mind for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. God, you're so chill. I'm glad we got to meet today.
No, I'm really enjoying this. This is great. I appreciate it.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't know if I'm always curious if I like come off this way on my streams, right? Because like I try and be down to earth enough where people like feel. I guess that's my goal is like to be down to earth enough that people feel comfortable and understand that I want everyone to be a part of the experience, but also be a little high octane on
yeah,
my streams at least.
exactly. No. It's good. It's good. And I think it's kind of cool for you to be able to maybe be a little more vulnerable in a different space for a little bit, because you don't have to take this back to your stream and your content, obviously, but you're a person, you're a human being. And there's a lot to you
Multifaceted.
beyond the cringe. Even though we love the cringe, we love the cringe.
Yeah, no, it
Uh,
is really good. Like I was really excited to come on because yeah, like that is like it's just like not what I do. Like sometimes we'll talk about like more serious topics on my stream. Absolutely. Like especially I tend to be uh a little bit political sometimes on my stream. So like we'll have those discussions on a more like geopolitical scale, occasionally. But like I don't really do it a ton. So it's nice to kind of come here and be like a little bit more talking about real life, talking about things that are good and bad about content creation and the journey and all that good stuff. So it's cool.
yeah, absolutely. Well, I know one thing that I definitely wanted to talk about today was, being a Twitch partner. What has that journey looked like for you? What is the experience like of being a Twitch partner in your corner of the internet?
Yeah, so I'll echo some things that I hear all of the time, which is like, you know, partner isn't doesn't change your life, partner doesn't make you completely financially stable once you get it, all that good stuff. Um, partner is it's a really amazing achievement once you hit it. It's awesome. You should be. I think you should. Unless you really don't care about specifically streaming on Switch or Twitch, or you're just doing for fun, which is completely valid. If you like want a career in content creation, you want Twitch to be that outlet. You should be gunning for partner. Like it's a good thing. Like 100%, it's a good thing. Even though I disagree with some of Twitch's policies and the way they treat partners and the way whatever payouts, all that stuff doesn't mean I completely align with what Twitch thinks, but that partner take it is valuable. You'll notice that it helps you kind of get in the door with bigger creators. Not that numbers are the most important thing, but these bigger creators that give you access to more opportunities to do things. Once you're a partner, it just makes it a little bit easier, right? It shows that you've gone through the ringer and your content has been deemed worthy by a large enough audience that you are kind of safe, and you probably have some good ideas, right? Because you built your own community, you've done this from scratch, for the most part, people tend to notice you, and it definitely opens up more doors, whether it be from other creators or whether it be from sponsors or whether it be from Twitch itself when they're holding events. It is a good thing. So like a lot of people I think are just like, ah, it does nothing. It does. It definitely does do something. So like, don't if someone says that to you when you're pushing for a partner or when you're trying to get that, if that's a goal that you have, like don't let that get in the way because it definitely does something. It's not a magic wand. It's just kind of another tool in your toolbox when you're moving forward trying to build your machine of content creation. So it is a good thing. It's definitely like it's more, I would say it's more discouraging when you have days that like don't go as well or have streams that don't go as well because you feel like I'm a partner, like I earned this like echelon, like I can't maintain like what I need to like be up here, like do I deserve this tick, whatever. So like it puts it sometimes it helps it kind of forces you to put these expectations on yourself that are unfair. It kind of, I mean, at least for me, like it kind of like I kind of just expected to keep growing, right? Like not that I got lazy with my content or anything, but it's like I expected to just keep going. And I remember after I hit partner, like with everyone, almost everyone that hits partner, I kind of rose to the top and then like fell down a little bit and then like kind of recovered. Now I'm slowly recovering from that like drop off of like the initial partner push. But it's kind of understanding that hey, like it's a big milestone, it's a high, and things are going to balance out after that. But you just got to keep working, and it'll get back to a point where uh, you're riding high again. But it's a good thing, and it's just like you can't invest too much of your worth or your you know expectation into it, if that makes sense.
It
Yeah.
totally does. I really appreciate actually your very like balanced perspective on it because I think, not necessarily here on the show because we see really good beans here who have like a really good mentality towards this kind of thing, but by and large, like outside of this sphere, outside of our circle, I think I get frustrated because you see a lot of the two extreme ends of the spectrum.
Yes.
Either people
Hmm.
partner pushing so hard as if that is the most important thing that they're ever going to achieve in their streaming career and that it's the end all be all, it's gonna save their life and everything's gonna be smooth sailing from there. Or that it doesn't matter and it doesn't do anything and you shouldn't worry about it at all,
Yes.
and that you're a bad person if you like are like trying to achieve that goal for some reason.
Yes. Yes.
And so I appreciate you, and I wish there were more people with like, you know, this more understanding mindset of like you said, tool in the toolbox. But as I always say, you can pretty much do anything you could do as a partner, as an affiliate. It's just harder. You
Yeah.
just have to work a little bit harder and push for it because you don't have that verification next to your
Yeah,
name.
it's clout. Like that's really what it is. Like it's like to be completely honest, like it's clout. Like it doesn't mean anything, intrinsically on its surface, but again, like I said, people notice it, whether it's, again, sponsors, Twitch, other creators, it's this advantage that you have. And you can absolutely still do those things, same things as an affiliate, but like you said, B, it you work a little bit harder. And that's kind of like something I've noticed, I think, too, with like being partner. It's not that I'm like, I'm a partner now. I expect all these opportunities to flood in. I'm a big deal. Um, but I think I did expect things to be like a little bit easier in terms of like creating and bringing people in. But it kind of like seeing that not really much did change unless I still worked for it, uh, kind of like lit a fire under me to like make even better content. Like I'm trying to make content that's even better now, and I'm trying even harder because now I can't flash the badge and be like, hey, give me something. But I can, you know, when I'm reaching out to a sponsor, I can write a really nice email and then say I'm a partner. And like that adds a little bit more reputability to that email, right? So again, like I said earlier, it's a tool, but it's not a free pass. Like you don't get anything from it just from having it, which I think is kind of what, you know, some people maybe like subliminally think about it.
Yeah. I think that from what we've gathered, in our few years of being content creators and talking to so many amazing creators on this show, both partners and affiliates, it seems like it's a very exciting venture and then it's a very humbling one. Which I think is good for content creators because, like B said, we talk about this a lot, how it's a great goal. Obviously, it's kind of the penultimate goal on Twitch. That's kind of the way it's laid out, even though I don't necessarily agree with that. That's just kind of how it is. But it seems like people often have a hard time thinking beyond partner and into what's next. And it seems like when you get to that amazing achievement, that echelon, and you're up at the top, it's very, very cool. But then you kind of have to realize, oh, now what do I do tomorrow? Tomorrow's a new day.
I mean, especially because we grew up in a society that situates us for 12 years for most of us in school or more, where the carrot, the achievement is presented for you right there, and you know what you're working towards, and the structure is provided. And I think we're very used to that kind of structure, whereas beyond that partnership level, I guess there's ambassador, but for most people, that's, you know, there's a long time period usually between partner and ambassador, right? So there's a lot you have to do between there to ever even think of that as like your next goal. And all of a sudden you're asked to, in a way you never were prior to affiliate and partner, set your own goals. And I don't think a lot of people prepare themselves mentally for that. They think that, you know, they've achieved the thing and then they're lost. They feel very lost. I see a lot of my partnered friends, and literally no hate to them, because it's not a system that's set up very well. It's not really your fault that this happens, but they get lost because all of a sudden they were working towards a very structured goal that somebody gave them, and now they have to set their own goals and they don't really know what's feasible or how to do that process.
Yeah, I like that comparison a lot, B. I mean, like if you look like partner is like getting a 4.0 GPA. Like that's a really good comparison because it's like, cool, you got a 4.0. What are you doing now? Like, are you gonna go to
Mhm.
college with that? Are you gonna take that to what do you want to do in college with that? Like you can get into the college, sure, but like
You can even get the degree, but
you
if
can,
you
yeah.
don't know how to, I mean,
How
it's
does
just
that
like
translate to you? Yep.
getting a job. If you can't sell yourself in an interview, so it's like kind of the same thing. You can get the partner check, but if you still don't have the gumption to like send the email and pitch yourself and reach out for collaborations, if you haven't practiced those skills as an affiliate, you're still just as lost as you were prior to getting the check mark.
Yeah, 100%. I would say the best thing that you can do as an affiliate is set yourself up with content where where your content doesn't even have to really change that much once you hit partner. Like for me, I feel like my content before I hit partner was like very much centered around like building all of this hype and excitement in my community to like hit partner. And like that's like what my content was. Like it was like the community being excited to reach a goal, which was awesome. Like don't get me wrong, it was very good. But after we did it, I felt like I didn't have any content. Like I wasn't putting stuff on YouTube. I wasn't putting stuff on TikTok. I wasn't doing anything else. I wasn't saving my content to use for later to upload full VODs. Like I wasn't doing really anything to kind of like, and if you looked at my stream as like just a viewer that never saw and wasn't excited and didn't understand the meta of Twitch of like what partner means to creators and things, I don't really think you'd like my content. Like, I don't really think it would be that exciting. When I was first starting out. So I think it's really important to set yourself up where you're making actual content, right? You're having fun with a game, or you're doing a show like this, like a produced show like this, or you're doing something that gives people more reason to be there, other than this creator is trying to hit a goal. Let's get them there because that's not real. It's not real viewership. It's not a real audience.
It's not
It's
sustainable.
it's friends. For most of it was friends that were getting me there. Which and you can't expect friends to be the people that prop you up, um, and make your content because like that's not how friendships work, right? Like you can't expect them to be the people that keep pushing you, forward. You have to have an organic audience. You really do.
Right. Can I ask
Yeah.
a question, like creator to creator? It's kind of sidetracked, but I'm just really curious.
Totally. Whatever. Nothing's off limits for me. Absolutely.
He said nothing. Oh my gosh. I'm just kidding.
This is Crub, Juby. Come on now.
Well, I don't know if Crub knows Joopy. Anyway, I'm curious your thoughts on uploading your VODs to YouTube and how beneficial that is as a Twitch streamer, and what your experience has been with that, because that's something that I've been really thinking about doing, and I'm just unsure of what the benefit is, I guess.
Yeah, so a couple of things. My full VODs that I upload are primarily just for me to have an archive that's saved off of my computer itself, of my past streams, so that they're just there, right? It doesn't really bring a lot of traction to necessarily to the stream or anything. They get like 10, 20 views, right? Which is honestly more than I expect for like a full VOD where I just literally don't clip anything. I just put it up there. Um, One of my favorite things to do, though, to kind of make content a little bit more digestible, is if I have a VOD where I play like a specific game, for example, like I played one game and, over 2 or 3 VODs, and I want to take that game specifically, I will cut that game out of those VODs and I'll make like a like I'll actually edit the video. Instead of just uploading an entire VOD, I'll edit the video. And then when there are like good moments, I'll cut those, 10, 20, 30-second moments and turn those into TikToks, YouTube Shorts, Instagram
Mm.
while I'm editing the full video. Kind of helps it make it a little bit more digestible. And then uploading full VODs to I have 2 separate channels. I have a channel for VODs and I have a channel for my actual like produced videos. Um Uploading VODs puts something there that if some, the people that are really invested in the community that are kind enough to actually sit there and watch a VOD when they miss a stream, um, still have something to eat, and then they can see this produced video later on, and that can bring more new people into the stream. So it's kind of like full VODs are kind of like feeding your community that you've already sustained, and then um cutting videos up is kind of like a growth mechanism, at least from my from what I've seen thus far.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. That's a great breakdown, and I feel like it's something that we can miss out on. I'm not saying it's easy to take your content and put it somewhere else, and then put it somewhere else, and put it somewhere else. It's a lot of work. Like you just made that very clear, But it
100%.
seems
And
like,
I should put the disclaimer out there. Like I am an able-bodied like younger person, right? Like I have
yeah.
nothing. I have no like physical roadblocks which prevent me from doing that, right? Some people do, and everybody's workflow looks a little bit different because of that. So
Right. Yeah. But I appreciate the breakdown, because it's always like, it's hard to know, like, where should we be investing our time outside of being live on Twitch, But it does sound like that could be really beneficial. And I like the idea of, I don't know, having your VODs, access to them at any time in case you're like, oh, I want to go back to the stream from 2 months ago and use this, 2-minute section, and it's right there.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Do you record your VODs? Do
Yeah,
you
I
have them all?
do.
Good. Good. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's like for me, it's just like, yeah, everybody has access to them. I have access to them. I don't, I still keep them on my computer, but like you don't have to keep them on the computer if you upload them. So it's just nice. And plus, like I said, I can literally just upload that VOD, have it be done. I don't have to worry about editing it or anything. And then I can still say, hey, I uploaded something today, right? Like
Right.
it helps me mentally a little bit. And with the rat race of constantly having to upload content, I think quantity is G there's times where you should have quality over quantity, but a lot of times just uploading a lot is not a bad thing, especially when you're trying to grow because you never know what's going to click and
Right.
work. So, I try not to be
Algorithms
too
are also
introspective.
so funny. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the TikTok algorithm particularly is one that I always go back to. Like
Bonkers.
the amount of the last TikTok that I posted was literally me laying in my bed doing one of the filters that like spins, and I wasn't even planning on posting it, but it had a funny result that like related to content creation, so I was like, whatever, sure. I haven't really been making TikToks, so why not? And then that TikTok got more views than any of the produced TikToks that I was working on, which is fine. But I think you made a TikTok a really long time ago, Crub. It was one of the first interactions that I actually ever had with your content. That I was like, oh, I really like that. Was that you were just like, you know, you were talking about like investing time into your content, and like there's kind of a cost benefit analysis sort of thing happening where it's like, yes, you do want to invest time into your content, but also time is not a guarantee that eyeballs are going to see it. Your
Mm-hmm.
most like unedited random ass clip could go on the algorithm in a way that any of your produced work that you spent hours on may never. So it's just like impossible to know.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like it's kind of like until you get to a point, right? Like because like let's say, like I'm just starting, I'm still kind of just starting out YouTube and like right now like it's like I'm just uploading shorts, like I'm just throwing stuff out there, see what sticks, see what works, right? Once you get to a point where you kind of have your niche and you kind of have an audience, then I think it's worth it to kind of invest time into editing videos a little bit more and producing a little bit more and making them a little bit better. But you're like not really many people are going to see that until you get to a point where you have regular viewership. So yeah, 100%. Like I learned that lesson myself when I uploaded to TikTok. Like that TikTok you just referenced me was right after I had been uploading clips that I had edited, that I had spent time editing in Premiere. And like they were getting, a couple hundred views on TikTok. And then I uploaded a clip that I didn't edit. It was in the wrong format. It was in the freaking like box. And then there was like the black bars above and below it. And it was like me getting scared in a scary game, 1.5 million views. And
No way.
I was like, dude, like this is it's wild. So like it's just like when you're in the growth phase, I definitely think it's important to just quantity, just throw stuff at the wall, see what sticks.
Isn't content creation great?
It's so funny. It's so funny.
But
It's like one of the only career paths where there's not like sort of this 1-to-1 Y and X ratio of like hard work, time, growth. Nope.
Right.
It's just so.
It's literally all so random sometimes. And I love your breakdown and truly just how balanced you view everything, Crub, because like you said, I mean, there's nothing wrong with recycling your content. I think that's something that people really need to learn as content creators. You don't always have to be posting something new. Post the same thing on every platform. Like there are people who only follow you on some platforms, or people who may find your stream because you posted it on TikTok or whatever. Like you never know. So just go for it.
Yeah, post the same thing again. No one cares. My friend, I had a really good friend who moved to a different career, but she was very successful on Twitch and TikTok. She would literally repost the same video like 3 months later and get a ton more views, a ton more unique views about it on TikTok. Like no one cares. No one cares if you post the same thing again. Do it again. Like it doesn't matter. Like recycle stuff. Yeah, 100%. Post a stream that you had 3 months ago. Like it doesn't matter. Like just get stuff out there. You never know what's going to stick. Like I said, once you get to a point where you have kind of, and whatever that might be for you, an established audience, and you feel like you kind of have people who are regular going to, a comfortable amount of people that are regularly going to view your content on whatever platform you're doing it on. Yeah, and then you can make, more consistent stuff, kind of stick to a plan. But when you're growing, when you're starting out, just whip stuff out there. Repost.
That's amazing. This is Twitch content tips and tricks with Crub TV, everybody. This is free.
No
These are free tips right here if you're hanging out with us. So
it's not legal or financial advice. Okay.
Crub does not take any responsibility for the future of your
No
streaming career.
liability.
But I think for, I don't want to speak for Droopy, but I feel like we're very similar in looking at, wanting things to be quite perfect and really struggling with that sort of like perfectionism control element. And I think it's a very good reminder that like, you know, um, sometimes it's just about, doing what you can with what you have. And, the amount of times I've gone to go edit like a VOD and then I'm like, oh, but like it's like not good enough the way that it would have to be cropped for YouTube. And I should have set it up better. So maybe I won't. And it's like not letting those kind of things, like you'd be surprised how many people just like will not care, will not notice, did not know it was supposed to be a different way.
Yep.
That's all like in your head.
we
100%.
we give ourselves these mental roadblocks, I think, so often in content creation. And like you said, be like many viewers would not even know what you're referring to if you pointed it out, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I think it is just like it's like balance. Like you said, it's I'm not saying you should just be throwing crap out, right? Like, like put some clips out that you don't really care about, sure, because you never know what's going to hit. But like you should also, like what I do, like I was saying, I'll cut, little clips from like a larger project that I'm working on and throw those out, right? But that larger project that I'm working on, like I'm proud of that. Like I'm working hard on that. Like I'm happy with how that's going to turn out. So it's kind of balancing like content that you're proud of and you enjoy versus just like short digestible little candy that you throw out, right? Like, you have an entree, but like you have a couple pieces of candy for like, for dessert, right? Like, so you need, it's balancing that content that you're proud of and that helps you grow. It's a mix of the two.
I love the food metaphors. This is great. This is very good for my brain. I'm learning so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. These are great questions. This is you guys did a wonderful job in formulating these because this is helping me talk.
Yeah, yeah.
Talking is good.
I do have another one for you.
Yeah.
I think going back to our conversation about post partner goals, I was curious like what is like one goal, big or small, that you have for yourself now that you've already kind of achieved that you're working on now as a creator?
I think the biggest goal, and I posted, some of you may have seen this on Twitter if you follow my Twitter. The biggest goal that I have for 2022 is I love video games. I love video games. And I kind of like lost that for a while during school and in my first year out of school. I graduated school in 2020 during the pandemic. And from like 2020 to like 2021, I was really enjoying Twitch and I was enjoying the entertainment aspect of it. I didn't really like I didn't play single player games because that's just not really what did well on my channel. Like I had to play GeoGuessr, I had to play marbles, I had to do, things that work for the channel. I enjoyed that. Like, don't get me wrong, but I kind of lost my love for the art of like video games. So my goal for this year is I've kind of rekindled that love for games, and my hope and my dream is to work with game studios in some capacity, whether it be indie studios, whether it be bigger studios. I would love, I want to solidify a career in this industry, whether it is continuing streaming or whether it's planting seeds for the future of working with a game company, or doing voice acting or something of the like. I don't know exactly what path that is, but I know the end goal is to be somewhere in games where I can make a positive impact. So that's my ultimate goal, is to not necessarily get there by the end of this year, but to orient myself in that direction, to work and solidify myself in the games industry.
Get your name out there, make some connections.
Exactly, exactly. Take those steps, and that's not something I've really done before. So I really want to do that. It's something that excites me a lot when I think about it.
That's wonderful.
Mm.
Best of luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I
Yeah.
appreciate that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the cool thing about being a content creator is once you kind of get to a point where you're maybe happy with streaming and comfortable with streaming, I guess I would say, whether that's, being a partner or affiliate or just streaming for fun, you can then kind of start to explore and figure out like, okay, what else could I do in this industry? Because the skills that we have from live streaming can take us in so many different directions, as you've said.
Yeah,
So,
you'll see a lot of creators like where bigger creators that have been working doing this for a couple of years. They'll work with a talent agency, or they'll work
mhm.
with a voice acting company, or they'll work with an actual game studio or promotions. There's so many things you can do. 100%.
Yeah, there really is. And it sounds like it's cool that you have a passion for games because I think, if you wanted to work with like game studios, maybe getting to like showcase some of their video games, like sponsored streams and things like that could be something really cool that you could do. Because then you could work directly with the game developer and then also get to play a game for free or paid, which is really exciting.
Yeah, that's like the ultimate goal, is to, and something that is completely outside of that like is important to me is like I think it's important that there are so many like, I'm like a white presenting cis dude, right? Like, and like if I ever get to a point where I can have some kind of impact that isn't just being an absolute shitheel in the games industry as the person that I am, like I I would be very happy to kind of be some sort of like light of hope for everyone that isn't a white bro dude in the games industry, right? So like that's important to me too, is this is the industry is fucked up, like it's not great. So I know that I alone am not going to be the person that changes that. People that more marginalized inclusion, and more marginalized groups being a part of games and games, game production and studios and entertainment, is what really is the answer. But I hope that I can make somewhat of a positive impact in whatever area that I go in. So that's really important to me, as well as this. I know that I'm going into an industry where I could cause a lot of harm if I was a bad person, so I'm really trying to, make that impact positive.
Yeah. Well, the fact that you recognize that and talk about that is a huge step in the right direction. So you're already on your way. And it seems weird, but like you are already part of the games industry by being a streamer. You know that, right?
Weird to think about. It's really weird to think about. That's actually true, yeah.
So you're not
Yeah, I
too
mean,
far off from what you want to
a lot of
do.
games wouldn't thrive without the streaming realm. So you
True.
absolutely are.
So strange to think about, like,
Yeah,
yeah, we do a lot of us any of us that play games are
we
in the
are. Yeah.
games industry.
Give
Yeah,
yeah.
it's wild.
Give yourself some credit.
Tangentially, but
Yeah, yeah, but still, like, it's really cool. It's really cool that, like, we kind of, because I remember always thinking in, like, college and stuff, it's like, "Man, I really wish I could work with, like, video game studios, but I live in Michigan, I'm gonna work at General Motors."
No, no, no. Not
Like,
the Michigan slander.
dude, it's like the only jobs here are,
I'm
like,
in
you're working for
Michigan
an
too,
automotive.
by the way.
Oh, really?
So I
No,
understand.
dude, no. Like, like, every job when I was looking at, like, Indeed, when I was, like, getting out of college was like, "You this supplier for GM," or, like, "You're working for GM or Chrysler or Ford," or what, all the automotive companies here. I was like, "Man, I really would love to work for, like, a game studio or something," but, like, I have no idea how to get involved in that, and all of those are out in all the game studios are in LA or New York. Like, I'm never gonna work there because, like, I don't wanna move there and then live there, and, this was just, like, an unexpected thing that kind of came about, so it's been really nice to see that, like, oh wow, there's actually ways to get involved in this industry and I'm just forcing my way in. I didn't take a path to get there, like a set path. Like I forced my way in, and now I'm so I have to keep doing it, but I have my foot in the door at the very least.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really cool because, as the world continues to progress, and then obviously the Panini has expedited us living online, but you're going to see more remote positions. You're going to see, looking for content creators, looking for people to market games and things like that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's only going to hopefully get easier for everyone, you marginalized creators like us, of course, as well. But yeah, foot in the door is a really good way to look at it, and knowing that you're always going to be kind of reaching to try and do more in the industry is really good, because I feel like, I don't know. I feel like when you hit partner, you could just choose to kind of settle and just stream on your channel forever and not maybe reach towards other goals. But I think it's really, really cool that you have all these goals and you want to do other cool things and you want to help other people out to make the industry better. So that I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's a mixture of, you have to make yourself happy with by pursuing your own passions, but at the end of the like at the same time, uh I think we all have a responsibility. Not everyone thinks that way, but I think we all have a responsibility to make positive impacts in the paths that we choose as well. So it's balancing your own, desires along with the responsibilities and duties you have that come along with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Responsibility is, yeah. People don't, some people don't want to realize that we as content creators have these platforms and we do have to use them responsibly, but you are 100% correct in that we do.
100% true. Yeah, there are thousands of people have watched us all, right? It's important. Like, people shouldn't be putting us on pedestals as these amazing folks, right? But like we do have responsibility to again just use our platforms as responsibly as we possibly can when we're with the knowledge that we have. At least we have to at least try.
Hmm.
We can't just you know do whatever the heck we want. Like it's you
Yeah,
can, but like you're kind of an asshole if you do,
yeah,
right? Like,
yeah, exactly. All right. Well, I am curious because you've done so much in your journey so far. But what has your favorite thing about being a content creator been? Like what stands out to you as the best part of it all?
the best part of content creation, I would say, is like just like I was talking about, it kind of connects to like me growing up. Like I've always wanted to do everything. Like I want to do everything. Like I wanna like be an artist. I want to be a music producer. I want to make video games. I want to play video games. I want to produce, I want to, I want to produce game shows. I want to do everything. And like with content creation, I can do that. I can do whatever the heck I want. Like I can do whatever I want. Doesn't mean that it all will stick necessarily, but I can at least try everything. And that's like what my brain needs to succeed. And that's what I knew I would never get with an office job. Um, and so it makes me incredibly happy. And I feel so like grateful and privileged that like that is like my core, like driving, like primal instinct is like I need to do everything before I die. I want to do everything. So content opening all those doors and helping me try everything and live a life that is very variable makes me really happy. I like that a lot.
It sounds like it's been very fulfilling for you.
It has, yeah, it definitely has. I've done everything from bringing on a historian from of Cambodian history to my stream to talk about the history of a country that I know nothing about to doing to broadcasting Halo tournaments on my stream. So it's really nice to have again just kind of be able to do everything. It's super fun.
It's very, very cool. I love that.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I don't, not to be like mushy gushy, but I hope you know that you should be proud that you have built up enough of a genuine community that you have that flexibility to go from bringing a historian on to doing a Halo tournament to dressing up as Belagoth to in a
Wait,
maid
what?
costume in The Sims, and building a little Among Us shell challenge. Like, it's truly, it does say something about you as a person and you as a creator and the foundation that you've built, that people are in your space are really just along for the ride. They're like, whatever, I don't know what Crub's going to do today, but I'm here for it. Let's go.
Thank you. That's very nice of you. Like very nice of you to say. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm just like I try and manage like not being like super parasocial, but at the same time like I'm so grateful for like the people in my community. Like there's a lot of really good people that just want to see me succeed and our community succeed, and to them I'm incredibly grateful. Like I'm so like I can't put into words how grateful I am that they support me, because they don't just watch. Like these people support me financially and through Patreon and through subs, and like this in so many different ways, like are there every stream. Like I've like so it's I'm incredibly grateful for it, and the fact that anyone takes any of their time to sit and watch me do the goofy thing that I do on my funny little website um is incredible. It's awesome. So I'm incredibly grateful for it, and it's just something that like that's something I'm always going to hold on to. I could have 200,000 concurrent viewers tomorrow, and like I will always hold on to like people are taking time out of their day to watch me, and like I really appreciate that, and it just inspires me to make better content for sure.
Can we go back to the maid outfit for a second? What was that? What was that about?
I'm seeing if it's near me. I put it in the wash because it gets a little grimy. Whenever
It
we
gets
hit a
a
little
little grimy. Crumb, would you like to explain to me what causes your maid costume to get grimy during your stream, huh?
look, I've got lights on me. My room is the hottest room in the house. I've got the PC running. Like I've got 10,000 programs open when I'm streaming. It gets a little sweaty. Look, I'll say it. Yeah, so I bought this maid dress originally to do a Bonehilda cosplay from The Sims. Um, and then I kind of it somehow morphed into every time we hit a level 5 hype train on my channel, I'll put on the maid dress. Um, so I've conducted the last like 60 plus streams on my channel in a maid dress because my community cannot let go of the streak. So yeah, that's kind of the maid lore on the Crub TV channel.
That's amazing. Wow. That's the best thing I've heard all day.
It's a lot of fun.
Can't wait to be there for the next level 5 hype train so I can witness this greatness.
Oh, come in at any specific time, you'll probably see me.
I like having.
If it's not the maid dress, it's something, Jupi.
It's
I
something?
promise.
Yeah.
No matter what, unless you enter stream maybe like the first 5 minutes, you're gonna get chaos
Potato
of some
costume,
kind.
Sailor Moon costume.
Sailor
I've got a lot
Moon.
of-
I love Sailor Moon.
I saw your poster. It's sweet. I've got the board mounted behind me.
Yes.
It's so sick. I love it.
Taste. All right. Well, we've talked a lot about content creation and your amazing journey so far, but I know that we do have a lot more to get into about, who has made Crub who he is today. And I know that you have your own business. So tell us about that. What was it like starting your own business in college? Are you still running it to this day? And what does your business entail?
Yeah, for sure. So I started a business in college called Dead Velvet Apparel. It was kind of inspired by my hometown, which was again kind of like it's a not it's a one of the poorer towns in Michigan, and like I kind of tried to encapsulate the beauty that I saw through the like you know dilapidated city that I lived in, but like the beauty of the people and the beauty of the history and the artistic community that was there. And I tried to kind of use that as my motif for the designs that I made. I don't really like I still it's the business is still open. I still have stock. I still do things. It's not my main focus because Twitch has like gone where it's gone, and I wasn't expecting that at all. So I've kind of moved it. It kind of serves as my merch store now. But it was definitely my first foray into, okay, really don't want to work a 9 to 5 when I'm done with college. Like I need to do something to creatively stimulate me and make me my own boss. So I started this clothing company because I was and I still am really interested in fashion and in graphic design. Um, so I kind of taught myself how to draw a couple of designs. Sometimes I hired artists for things that were a little bit outside of my realm, and just started selling them. I would do like pop-up shows around my city. I would try to like get into events and things and set up tables and booths. Had an online store, had tried to have a social media presence, work with photographers, more artists in the area just to kind of set it up. But it was a lot of fun. It's like I said, it's not really something that I put a lot of like creative juice into anymore. It kind of serves as a backdrop, but I'm very grateful for it because it taught me a lot of the things that I needed to know to understand the business side of Twitch. So I'm very grateful for it. And yeah, it's still open. You can go to deadvelvetapparel.com and still get a couple of the things that I still have. But people were very supportive of it, and that definitely helped my confidence as well. Like going into Twitch, of like, oh, I can do things like this. So it was really cool. It's something I'm really grateful for.
That's very cool. And what do you think inspired you to start a business? I mean, I know the city around you, but did you like you're interested in fashion? Was it your goal to like maybe be like a fashion designer one day or something like that?
Yeah, back when I was, back in college, I was very invested in fashion and like that was kind of like my artistic that was interested in that artistically for sure. Like that was like the art that I wanted to get involved in because I also really enjoyed graphic design. Took a couple of graphic design classes in high school, and I really enjoyed it. So that was like the one art that like really kind of stuck with me. So I kind of combined those two loves of fashion as well as graphic design, and started that business. And yeah, it's not something I'm as passionate about now. It's just it's really hard. It's very hard like fashion is tough. It is really tough to get off the ground in. So and it's a ton of work, and I didn't love it as much as I love streaming and entertainment. So I definitely found my true love with this. But I'm grateful for that past relationship with fashion because, like I said, it kind of set me on the right track and helped me learn to truly fall in love with content creation.
Yeah, it sounds like it taught you a lot. And I mean, having a website to be able to have your merch on already is pretty nice too.
Definitely, yeah, yeah, yeah. Just those, those small things that helped me establish, what I needed to succeed here. It's awesome. Yeah, it was a really good experience.
Yeah. And Twitch is very business minded as we learn as content creators, and you really do have to learn to be your own boss and be in charge of your own business and monetize and things like that. So I think those business skills are really essential.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. Like like you have to do a lot on here to like it's not easy to monetize yourself. So
It's not.
if you really want to do this as a job, it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. So it's good to have those learnings. But I'm grateful for them, not only for myself, but I'm happy when if I can be a resource to someone, in turn, again, I'm not an expert, but if I can be a resource to someone who is just starting out or needs help on the business end of things, like I feel like I have more experience than some people. So, I'm happy to be that kind of resource as well.
Very cool.
That's awesome. Um, I feel like we've learned a lot about the working side of Crub, the artist, the creative, and even some of the background as to how you got all the skills that you have today to be, sort of the Crub we see before us. But a lot of what you talked about in your reflection to us is the people in your life and the role that they have played in sort of helping form who we see in front of us today. So I'd like to dive into a little bit of that sort of side of things, even though it's a little bit different. So from what I read, you had a very unique experience growing up with your family. To the extent that you're comfortable, I think people would be very interested in learning a little bit more about sort of what happened with your parents and what it was like being raised by your grandpa and that sort of story if you're up for it.
Yeah, definitely. I'll throw out like a content warning. I'm not going to get into any kind of grisly detail, but this will entail some heavier stuff. But yeah, like it's something that I'm comfortable talking about because I think it is important to kind of to speak about. And this really like formed, who I was as a person, and my entire like mindset was these experiences that I had as a kid. But like I grew up in an environment with a father who just years of poor decisions from his family, and how he grew up and things just kind of turned him into this twisted bad person, and had a lot of problems with drugs and alcohol, and eventually, long story short, it ended in both him and my mother passing away when I was 3. So that was a really it was a really tough experience for me. At first it's kind of, when you're a kid, you either you kind of like, I feel like most kids repress things like that when something that traumatic happens at that young of an age. Like your body literally cannot, like, your small mind cannot process what's going on and how shocking it is, right? So I went and I was lucky. I was very lucky to live with my grandparents on my mother's side of the family. After that experience, I wasn't just left out on the streets or anything. I was very, very privileged to go live with my grandparents. And I kind of had to, at a young age, they did a great job of supporting me, but I at a young age had to kind of be their rock. Like they were really struggling. Losing a child is not easy. So I really had to be their rock at a young age, and it kind of molded me um into this person that I've always wanted to kind of be that support for other people, whether it be directly or to my friends and the people that I care about and interact with on a regular basis, or whether it be indirectly through things like content where I can just hopefully make someone's day better, or provide some kind of escape from whatever they're dealing with in their day to day. But I was really lucky to live with them and grow up with them. And like I said, we lived in an area of town that was not great. I grew up, not poor, but we grew up lower middle class. It wasn't great. I remember during the economic crash of 2008, it was really tough. Neither my grandparents were getting up there, so even though they still worked, like it was tough for them to work anyway. They were getting older. So there was a lot of strife that came with it. But I always tried to be, to whatever extent that I could, kind of like their support and their rock. And they invested that back into me. So I was very lucky to have them and grow up with them. But it definitely, like, having to be that support at a young age, definitely, and dealing with such heavy themes as, our own mortality at a young age. It I think it kind of influenced a lot of the desires that I have now to do a lot of things, to do a ton of stuff, like live a very full life, and invest in other people, try and support other people to whatever extent that I can. Um, because like I saw it all get taken away that quick when I was young. So it really it's put a fire under my butt ever since I was a kid. And I was lucky enough to have a support system where I could process those heavy emotions pretty well. Definitely still had some struggles, but pretty well. And I feel very privileged that I'm in a position that I went through something like that, and I have dealt with most of the trauma to an extent where I can invest in other people. And it's really important to me. I work with an organization in my day-to-day life that provides mentorship and support to other children that have lost a parent from violent crime. And that's the most important thing to me. At the end of the day, like, I had this desire to do all these things, but none of those things mean anything to me if they don't make a positive impact on other people. So that's kind of my driving force that's kind of been reinforced by the experiences that I've had.
Thank you for sharing that. I know
It's a lot, but
it's not easy. And B and I are no stranger to tumultuous childhoods. So thank you for sharing it with us. Thank you. This is a safe space. And we're here to support you. Yeah, it's tough, and it's amazing how the things that we go through, even at such a young age, can influence our lives forever. And like you said, really shape and mold you into the person that you are today and how you want to live out the rest of your days. And I think that you've done so well to take care of yourself and your loved ones in dealing, with that experience, but also then outwardly trying to help others who have gone through things like this, or provide even just a happy, giggly space for people who may be having a bad day. Um, those things really, they go a long way in people's lives, right? So just know that you're already making that positive impact. You will continue to, and you're inspiring to people out there. You are. So, give yourself some credit and just make sure to take time for yourself to remember those things too.
I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, I think I think it's again kind of going back to responsibility. I kind of see it as a responsibility to myself because again, I had not everyone has the privilege after they go through something horrible and traumatic like that to have a support system which kind of helps them recover and deal with that trauma, right? So I I'm I feel like it's my responsibility, right? Like it's like, and I understand that I still need to take care of myself and things, but I will never not feel like it's my responsibility as a person who had the privilege to go through something traumatic like that and have the people around me to help me recover from it. Um I always feel that responsibility to be the person that can connect with people that don't have that support, that weren't lucky enough to have that support after they went through something traumatic. So that's the hope. And yeah, I appreciate the kind words because that's my ultimate goal for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are more than well on your way, Crub, and I think it's like more valuable than you probably even realize that you can look at things so holistically and kind of almost step outside of yourself and see the bigger picture of things in terms of you may have had a very different lived experience after going through that if you didn't have, the support and the resources um, that you did. And the fact that you have that capacity to sort of lean into the gratitude that, even though that was a really, really rough thing to go through and probably continues to be rough sometimes, because brains are rude now and again. But you look at it from a very healthy perspective, and not everyone could have come out of a situation like that with that same kind of mindset focused on helping people, because sometimes what happens is hurt people, and that's not necessarily their fault, but it is, as GP mentioned, both of us have had in our own experiences with rough childhoods, and it's not always easy, um, trying to take that and turn it around into something better day to day. Sometimes it's you you have this feeling of like maybe this is like the harder route. Maybe it would be easier to just kind of be angry or be upset at the circumstances that you were dealt with. And while all emotions are valid, that doesn't really serve us long term. So I don't know. Just proud of you for having the mindset that you carry with it, because it definitely could easily go down a different way.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Right?
And props to you, y'all as well. Y'all are incredible content creators and incredible people. For GP, I just met you, but I already like. I think you're awesome. And B, you're amazing. Everything that you do is
That's
incredible.
true. B
So,
is amazing.
y'all are incredible, and I hope that you know that you're making the same impact. But yeah, it's all about I feel another responsibility in my own like more personal circle is I think it's important to break cycles, right? Like
Mm.
it's a cycle that continued in my family for years up until now, of of that kind of behavior, and I want to be the one that breaks it for sure.
Wow, the way you just gave me goosebumps. Oh my gosh. I don't think people understand the power that breaking the cycle has, because that's really where trauma and bad things that have happened to you kind of come to a head. And you get to decide as the individual, am I going to let this define me, or am I going to take this experience and continue on and leave a positive impact on people or the world in whatever way that is? It doesn't have to be a huge, history changing way, but just by being kind to people, by being a mentor, maybe, by talking about your experience and being vulnerable, it does make an impact and it does break that cycle. So you're right. And yeah, I'm glad we met. I am, because it's these conversations are important to have in this space. And it's really important to remember that content creators are human beings who have gone through things that sometimes you could never imagine or fathom. And it does inform who they are, and the impact that they'll have in these spaces. So yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it connects back to what you said earlier, Crub, which was that it's important not to put people on pedestals, and this is kind of why, is because there's, both in the good and the bad realm, right? Like, depending on who it is and what the situation is, but there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that you could never necessarily see just from enjoying someone's streams, right? Like, for you, it's not like you're delving into this kind of stuff every day, and then that's just not the type of content you create, which is totally understandable. Some people want to create more of like that escapism, that fun, that, like, life is really hard, let's have a space and a moment where we don't have to necessarily think about those things, at least all of the time. But it's just like a reminder, right, that there's even to the himbo, there's a story there. There's a big lived experience and a lot of love and care and joy and passion that goes on behind it, that isn't just heckly, goofy, silly energy.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, every creator is that way. You look at any creator, and they might not have a horrible, traumatic past, but everyone has these lived experiences that help them become the creator that they are today. So I think it's important to kind of, understand that. And especially if you are a creator yourself, utilizing your own experiences to make better content, to connect with your audience, to understand sensibilities of how you should behave and how you should handle your platform, right? I think that all of that's very important, and it's good to understand that your experience, no matter what it is valuable when you make content.
Yeah, absolutely. Now
And to have empathy for others too.
oh
Sorry,
yeah.
keep
Yes.
it.
No,
Carry
you're
on.
okay. You're right. Empathy, I think, is I think that should always be on the forefront of our minds. I hope so, as people that have influence on any number of people. Empathy and
Yeah.
compassion for yourself and for others, of course.
For yourself as a creator, and taking care of yourself and
Yeah.
recognizing the bigger picture, and interacting with both your community and other content creators. I think sometimes we get so caught up in the nitty gritty of the event, the collaboration, the goal, the aspiration. And it's like important to remember, like, behind these cameras are real people struggling with real things you may not even be able to see. They
Absolutely.
may
100%.
they may be choosing, for whatever reason, to continue to try to put on their regularly scheduled programming, and may really be having a hard time. So just having empathy for people is huge, and giving them space to grow.
Yeah.
We're all
Absolutely.
learning.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, we did just get a big raid.
I was gonna say that
Oh,
So I do want to say hello and thank you so
hello.
much to Sweet Sage for the raid. Welcome into Humans of Twitch, everyone. This is a talk show hosted here on our brand new channel by myself, Joyful Jupiter, and my amazing, amazing co-host, Queerly B. Today we have the great honor of speaking with Crub TV, and we're actually a little deep in our feels right now. So welcome in. Thank you so much for the raid. We talk to all your favorite content creators here on Humans of Twitch. So welcome on in, everybody. Now I think this is going to be a fun question for you because in what I've learned, I mean, I've learned everything I know about you in these last 2 hours. So in what I've learned in these last 2 hours, and the experiences that you've gone through, you seem to have always been maybe just like kind of sure in yourself and your direction because you've been, influenced and to make a positive impact in life, like you said. But if you could go back and tell young Crub one thing with everything that you know now, what would you tell him?
Oh man, this is like I think about this sometimes when I'm making content, like almost makes me emotional, like thinking about it because like I struggled a lot in like late middle school, like early high school. Like I struggled a lot. So like I would definitely go back and say like pretty much just like don't worry and like do what you want to do because I never ever thought that like I would get to a point where I was remotely successful when I was that age. Um, and to be, at a point where I have had some success in an industry, like in an area of life that I'm very passionate about, in, games and entertainment. Like I don't think my younger self would have believed me that I was doing what I'm doing right now. And I cannot think of any of something that I could tell my younger self that would make that version of myself happier than I'm succeeding at what I'm doing currently right now. It's like it makes me really happy. So like telling my younger self that I was going to be here, I think is what I would do because it
Mm.
would make me so happy to know that that was my future.
It seems like I feel like for those of us that maybe had a really hard time in our adolescence, I think especially in the teenage years, when our brains really start to develop more towards adulthood and we
Yeah.
really um as you said, I also had this experience. I don't think this is true for everyone, but when you go through something really traumatic at a young age, you do repress it because your little baby brain can't process it. But when you get to those teenage years, that's when you start to actually process those feelings. And that's when it becomes really, really difficult to exist as
Yep.
a human being.
100%.
So I think it's so valid to just be like, hey, everything's going to be okay. The things that you want to do, you can, and it's going to work out for you, just that like reassurance to your
Yeah.
younger self that,
Yeah, all you need to do right now is persevere. Don't worry about the future. Don't worry about all the things you need to do. Don't worry about your success right now. Literally just you need to deal with what you're dealing with right now because you have to get through that to be able to succeed in the future. So just persevere. Like you don't have to be the best you've ever been or that you think you could ever be, right? The best thing for you right now is to work through what you need to work through 100%.
yeah. Do you think that you put a lot of unnecessary pressure on yourself when you were younger?
Absolutely. Like with like what I said earlier with like the experience that I had, I always felt like, I wanted to make that big impact in the future, right? And I felt like if I didn't start that super early, if I wasn't already succeeding at age, 16, right? Like it wasn't going to happen. It wasn't ever going to happen. So I put so much pressure on myself because I wanted to I wanted to be that person that I envisioned in the future. From from the experiences that I had.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's valid because there's so much happening in your brain at that point and it's hard to I think kind of pull the pressure apart from the creative drive, apart from the processing your feelings, apart from the existing as a human, But it seems to me that now you've taken a lot of that pressure off and now you're having a lot of fun. Just from with how you've talked today, you seem happy and smiling and proud of yourself. And that makes me really happy to see.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I can say I'm happier than I've ever been for sure. And shout out to my freaking fiance for being like one of the biggest reasons that I'm in the position that I'm in right now. Literally the best person I've ever met in my entire life and has given me imbued so much and she came in during those really rough teenage years. We met when we were 16 and like she helped me so much in working through and getting to the point that I'm currently at. So like shout out to her so much.
I think I'd love to I actually have some questions about your fiance and your relationship and what that's necessarily meant to you too. But quickly before I slide into that, I just want to give everyone a gentle reminder, kind of like, we were talking about what advice would you give to your younger self? And I think Crub said it, and we've had many other content creators say very similar things, that you're going to be here, you're going to be okay, things are going to work out. And this is just my little bee's gentle reminder that you should still say those things to yourself now,
Absolutely.
you know?
Yes.
And we talk really gently and kindly to our past hindsight kid self. But our current self probably also struggles with a lot of those same questions. Am I going to achieve the things that I want to achieve? Am I gonna be happy? Am I gonna find the relationship that I want to have and have the support network? Like, we have a lot of questions for most of us as to what the future is gonna entail. And it's just a good reminder, like, you're gonna be here. It's gonna be okay. You're gonna figure it out. You're gonna get where you want to be, even if you don't know how you're going to get there. Even if the path seems cloudy and unclear at this time, you'd be surprised that these little steps that you're taking day to day that feel like they're not getting you there because you're not immediately going to the end goal are really slowly, if you could see the graph, you're making your way there. It's a process that has big ups and downs
Yeah.
along the way.
And you're still that kid. Like, you're still that kid. You are still finding your way just like that kid was. You're just a little bit higher up the mountain of life. But you're still gonna be finding that way and looking. And you just have to learn to kind of enjoy that journey of maybe not knowing exactly what the next step is gonna be, because no matter how structured your life is, you're not gonna find it. And that's okay. Like, that's all right. You'll find that next step, but you might not know where it is until you reach it, right? So, it's kind of, give your current self that same love that you gave your past kid self,
Mhm.
because you're literally, that's you still. It's still you.
Yeah.
Like, despite everything, it's still you, right?
Especially, I mean, we're living through a pandemic, friends, besties, y'all, everybody. Like, if there was ever a time to be kind to yourself and give yourself grace and realize that we are all going through a giant ass collective trauma every single day, that you just exist, let alone work towards your dreams despite the uncertainty of the situation we find ourselves living through. You're doing a kick ass job, not just a good job, not just an okay job. You're doing amazing, just by getting through the day to day right now. So
Yeah,
be kind to yourself.
absolutely.
And
100%.
related to that, back to people who help us stay sane, people who help us stay on the right path, people who show us love and care and support. I saw that in your, you talked about it and in your reflection that your fiance has been a really important part of that. And I would love to hear, a little bit more maybe about y'all's story, how you met as 16-year-old little gremlins, and also like if you have any, as someone who's in like a newer-ish relationship, I'm interested if you have any advice or tips or things you wish you would have known in terms of making a relationship work really long lasting. Y'all have been together for 7 years, and that definitely takes some effort and some hurdles.
Yeah, definitely. So, we met. It's a funny story how we met. So, my fiance went to a public school, and I went to this little private school, and I didn't have a driver's ed program at my school. So I went to the public school to take driver's ed, and we were in like this little like science classroom with like the benches with like the two seats in front of them, right? When you would have like this like raised table with the two benches or the two stools or whatever, and everybody, like, no one there knew each other, so everybody just sat at their own table. But my fiance got there like really late one day, and no tables were left, so she had to sit next to someone. And so she came up to me and she's like, "Hey, can I sit here?" And I was like, "Yeah, like, absolutely." Like,
Yeah.
so she sat there and we ended up talking. And I remember in that period of my life, like, I was like, I was like a kid, and I was like not very confident. I was like, I just need to like stop trying to looking for like a relationship, because it's just like rejection is hard and I don't like talking to people. It scares me, whatever, whatever. But I remember like I wasn't, I was at that point where I wasn't even trying. And I feel like the best things happen when you're not trying too hard to make them happen. I ended up just chatting with her. We exchanged numbers at the end of the driver's ed, and from there on, it just developed. And yeah, we were 16, and that was almost. It's like 7.5 years ago, almost 8 years, and then we're getting married in somewhere that sometime this year. I don't have an exact date yet, but
Congratulations.
sometime this year.
That's
Congrats.
It's
so
That's
awesome.
exciting.
exciting.
Yeah, it's super exciting. And in terms of like, what's made our relationship work and things, we've been through like a lot in terms of like I we met when we were 16 and we were both still developing. And like me, especially, my fiance obviously has her own struggles, but like not it's not nearly the amount of turmoil that like I had to go through when I was developing. She's always been a much more stable person, and which is good because I think I kind of needed that in our relationship at that point when I was still developing. um but we went through a lot of just like me, because I was working through a lot of my trauma at that age. And she was very, very like supportive and wonderful, dealing with all of that. But I think the most important thing in a relationship, and everybody says this, but like I don't know if everybody necessarily understands it, super direct, is communication. Is just like you just like 100, like communication, just like say exactly, with obviously some exceptions, say exactly how you feel all the time. Like it's okay. Like, being like, if, for example, like I really don't want to do something because I don't have the energy one day, I can tell my fiance, like, I really don't feel very good today. I don't really want to do this thing that we had planned. And we might still do it, but she's going to know, hey, I might not be as talkative if we're around friends, right? And she's going to understand that, and she's going to be okay with that because she knows what my needs are. And she has the same thing. If she last minute, like, is like, I really don't have the energy today to do this. I'm glad that she told me that, because now I understand how to kind of approach her. And I'm not going to be upset with her and be like, why weren't you talking at all? Like, my friends might think that was kind of weird, because I know how she feels, and she told me that ahead of time. And the same way if I were to say that. So being like as authentic, honest, and as communicative as possible is amazing. If one of us has a problem with something that we do, like we say to each other or something, we immediately tell. It's like, hey, I don't really like the way your tone was when you said that to me. There's no ego. There's no, you have to, there's no temper. If they say that made them uncomfortable, if they say that, if she says that made her uncomfortable, if I said that makes me uncomfortable, I don't like when you do that, you recognize it, you immediately talk it out. You don't, give each other the silent treatment for 3 days, right? Or blow up and yell at each other. It's about managing your own ego and communicating good things and bad things. Like, hey, I really enjoyed that you said that to me. I really like when you say this. I really like when you do this. Or, hey, it really hurts my feelings when you do this. I don't like when you do this, et cetera, et cetera. Um, and immediately responding to it and not letting it fester is, like, in my experience, the healthiest thing you can do in a relationship. And it's been very good for us. I know for sure.
We love healthy communication. Yes.
100%. I think that is the best, like the best thing you can do for a relationship. 100%.
That's
And I
wonderful.
really appreciated how you also mentioned telling your partner when things go well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something that I'm personally working on to try to remember, and just in general is something that we don't always think about. It's easy to just like exist through the good moments
Yeah,
and like be there and vibe and enjoy the good time, but there is like a impact on your relationship in that person feeling acknowledged for, oh wow, like I made you feel good, like you appreciated that thing that I was doing, especially when your relationship goes long term, right? It's easy to take for granted the kind things that maybe your partner does to make your day-to-day life easier. And I think it's important to remain appreciative and remain, communicative that you're appreciative of whatever they're doing, because I think that has a really good benefit.
exactly, exactly. Because if she tells me that she likes something that I did, not only does that, that makes her feel good, that makes me feel good, and it informs me of how to repeat that in the future, right? Because I might not know how impactful something is, and I might do it once and be like, oh, she kind of liked that, but whatever, I may not think to do it again, but if she tells me that, then it's like, oh, I'm definitely gonna do that again. Then cool. Like, so it's just beneficial in so many different ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, congratulations once again on getting married. That's super exciting. That is wonderful.
Thank
And
you. I appreciate it.
I think it's not a must, but I think it's really, really nice to have supportive partners in content creation because it can definitely be a very, as we know, lonely, stressful, unforgiving field to go into
Yeah.
for a career. So to have a constant support that's there on the hard days and there on the good days as well, like it really helps balance it all out because it can be a very unbalancing experience.
Yes, I really, and if you have a partner that is also a content creator, that's awesome. I'm sure there are benefits to that, but for me personally, I'm really grateful that my partner is not involved in content creation at all, aside from sometimes coming in and saying hi in my streams. Because when something is going bad, or the content creation is really stressing me out, I can just talk to her and she gives an outside perspective of like, why are you upset about that? Like, who cares? Like, that person, that random person that doesn't like you on Twitter, like, who cares? Like, block them. Like, it's fine. Like, don't worry about it.
That's
Like,
a good
it's not a big
reminder.
deal. It's literally not affecting our real life at all. Like, who cares? And it's like, you're actually very right. Or like, when it's just like stressful and long, like I can just like go to her and we can talk about the garden or something, right? Like, it's just like, it's nice to like not have to worry about constantly being, because it's hard to not be perpetually online. During the pandemic, I was watching Twitch 14 hours a day, which was just it's like, it was fun, but it was like not super healthy. Like, I didn't do anything else. So now that I live with my fiance, it's nice because I can literally get up and have a reason to like step away. That is not like, because if I didn't have her, I would my little peanut brain would immediately like get a notification on my phone and I'd walk right back to my computer and be like, okay, time to tweet again. So it's nice
Good.
having someone around.
Yeah, it's nice to have
It helps.
healthy boundaries with your computer. It's important,
Yes.
even though it's really hard to do as a full-time content creator. We feel like we
Yes.
should be glued to it 14 hours a day, but really we should not.
100%. 100%. Creativity is not, it's like the old saying of like the person who like does nothing but think, like will only be able to express thoughts, right? Like, it's like, if all you do is sit in front of this computer and like consume content and like make content and stuff, what are you going to talk about? You're just going to talk about making content, which is accessible
Yeah.
only to a certain group of people, right?
Yeah,
You need to play games, you need to consume art, you need to go to movies, you need to interact with people in real life, to whatever
Yeah.
capacity you're comfortable and able to do, right? To be inspired to make content that's actually good and relatable to other people.
right.
It
Yeah.
took me it took me a hot second to realize that when I was like first starting content
Me
creation, and
too.
I think
And there's yeah.
all of us pandemic streamers probably went through a little bit of this, but there was like a period of time where I knew I loved streaming, but it wasn't feeling right. And part of what wasn't feeling right was that I was just literally not doing anything else
Yep.
Yep.
to inspire any kind of good like conversation on stream. And my partner and some of my friends can like account for the times where I was like, I don't know, like I think I need to like write down some things that I need like could talk about. And it was a lot harder versus like in the beginning of my streaming journey and where I'm at now in a healthier, balanced, more balanced place. That stuff came naturally, and that's how it kind of should be. I mean, there's a little bit of planning that goes on, right? Don't get me wrong. I have a bad memory. Sometimes I just need a reminder of what I did to want to talk about it, but it should be so much easier to hold conversation, and it becomes so difficult when it's like, oh well, I saw you yesterday, and all I did in the last 12 hours since I saw you was sleep, watch streams, and edit, and that's what I did for the whole week. So I don't really have anything to share with my community. So I got to a point where I had to realize like less is more, and you don't have to stream all of the time, and in fact, you may have better streams if you touch grass more often and have things to talk about and connect with.
Yeah, I had that exact same experience. It was like, I realized like my personality is like being a streamer. And like, that's not that interesting. Like, at the end of the day, outside of people that also stream, like that's just not that interesting. And even for people that do stream, like, it's nice to like watch something that isn't just a person talking about streaming. So like, it was like that's kind of what rekindled my like love for video games this year as well. Is like cool, like I can relate with my community and like other people by talking about this art form that we love and like these great creations in this art form, and like we can relate through that, and like that's just like so much more fun for me than being streamer guy. So like it's been awesome, it's been awesome. And yeah, I think like you said, all pandemic streamers, like we're all new, there's a ton of us, there's enough of us that like we feel like we're connecting with an audience because all of us just watch streams when we're not streaming. But then after things kind of, the pandemic is not over by far, but like when things sort of changed, when the tide shifted and there weren't as many people creating and watching other streams, whether they were burnt out or whether they were returning to physical work or whatever. um kind of lost that, and it was kind of a system shock, and it kind of made me realize that too, of like, okay, I need to learn to talk about other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
enjoy
I
other
got back
things.
to a place I got back to a place with watching streams as well, where now I only watch streams for enjoyment. Like I
Mm-hmm.
do not I think I had a period of time where I would just constantly have other people's streams going.
Yep,
And it
same.
was with really good intentions. It was
Mm-hmm.
with a supportive kind of like, I really want to help my friends. They're doing good work. I'm proud of them. Their streams are good. It's not that I wouldn't have a good time there, but I was no longer like watching streams as a watcher. I was watching streams as a streamer, and I had to change that in order to like like go back to enjoying the platform. So now
Definitely.
I don't really do that anymore. And if I think it came down to realizing that that's not support and friendship. That's not what it should be reliant upon. If someone wants to come watch my streams, I hope they're watching them because they enjoy them, not because they feel like they have to be there.
100%. And any like it's a you probably don't want to surround yourself with people that do expect you to like be in their streams.
Mm-mm.
That's weird.
Not
That's
at
weird.
all.
It's weird.
It's
Don't
weird.
do that.
If you're
It's weird
like a
behavior.
smaller streamer or like newer to streaming, please, if you hear anything, any piece of advice, if someone is making you feel like, oh, like I watched your stream, so you have to watch my stream, or any of that kind of I followed you, so you have to follow me kind of energy, run,
Yep.
run for the hills. That is not
Unhealthy,
your friend.
toxic, not good. Like, don't do, yeah, no, not good.
Don't do it.
Bad.
Don't. It's an easy trap to
Transactional
fall into.
relationships, bad, bad, very
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a
Yeah.
good takeaway. Absolutely. And this all ties in perfectly to our last question for the day. We like to end this way because, as another reminder, everyone that we have on the show is a content creator in some form, whether they stream on Twitch now or have in the past or create content elsewhere. But we're human beings too. So, Crub, what is your favorite way to spend a day away from your PC, away from content creation? What does a perfect day look like for you that way?
Oh, I would, if I had to craft the perfect day, let's say a day that I can get up a little bit early is awesome. Always makes me feel a lot better, even though I am a night owl. It always makes me feel a lot better when I can get up early.
Same.
If I can be up by like 9:30, that would be awesome. I would go get breakfast with my fiance at a nice little breakfast place. Get some breakfast, um, come back home, maybe just spend some time chilling for a little bit, uh, go back out. I'm also assuming there's no pandemic, right? So like we'll go back out, go do something fun like bowling or spend the day at the park, for a few hours. But just spend that good quality time together up until like the evening. Cook some dinner together. I really like cooking dinner with my fiance. It's really fun. Cook dinner, have dinner, and then have we another really awesome thing about my fiance is we both understand that we both need personal alone time. So after dinner, eat some dinner and then spend some time just chilling, playing a game, doing something by myself while my fiance does something that makes her happy, read or whatever she's up to, and then be able to spend some time, together before bed, and then just go to bed. That's my ideal day, is a day spent with my fiance, a little bit of time for myself to decompress, and then just a nice good night's sleep.
That sounds like a lovely day. And I want you to know, and I mean this as a compliment, that your Midwest is showing, but I mean it
Oh,
in the
I'm
best
so
way.
Midwest. just like outside of this, like just like simple man, like just
I love it. I love it. I'm like a Midwest
Just a simple
transplant.
lad.
So like I'm from the West Coast, but I've spent a lot of time in the Midwest. So I've like seen two different ways to live your life. And
very different. Yeah.
I'm someone that has come back to the Midwest. So I'll just say that it is it's a nice, slower paced life
I
sometimes.
could never only do that personally.
Right. No, me. No,
like,
no.
But like having
Sometimes.
that balance,
Yeah.
it really like having, going super hard and chasing ambitions and being entertaining and high octane is fun for a little bit. But when you step away from it, it's like, I don't want to do that right now. I don't want to go out and, go out and club or whatever. I don't want to do high octane shit right now. Like I want to breathe. I want to breathe. Like that's what's nice.
It's all about finding that balance.
Exactly.
I think the panini has definitely affirmed the need to like practice a little bit slowing down. We have even Midwest or wherever you're from, like America, we have a very go centric kind of like mindset. And I think it's really, really good to see everyone kind of realizing like it's okay to have time unscheduled where you do nothing. Stare at a wall, think, go for a walk, touch some grass. Pretty pleased with the cherry on top. Because otherwise we get these like chronically online takes that just are awry. They hurt my soul. It hurts my soul when I can tell that we have these problems that come up out of not taking any time to be reflective, not taking any time to touch grass.
100%. It's always exceedingly obvious of like, you really just need to turn the computer off for like a day.
Just step away for just a little bit, please.
Just a second, please.
Yes. Oh, it's so exceedingly obvious, but yes,
get some sunshine.
It is so good for you in so many ways. You'll be hopefully be less angry. You'll be less cooped up. You'll be more creative. Like do something else. Just do something else for a little bit.
Yeah, very good takeaway. Well, Crub, it has been an honor to have you on today. Thank you so much for chatting with us about everything from content creation to your daily life to all of your dreams in the future. We wish you nothing but the best.
And the same to y'all. We'll definitely still be in touch. Obviously, I mean, if you be my team lead, and Jube, it's been wonderful meeting you. We'll definitely be in touch because I really enjoyed getting to know you. And this fantastically done show. I love the way that y'all run this. Y'all are doing an amazing job. Congratulations on the new channel. I think y'all are almost to 100 followers. If not, after today's.
We might hit affiliate soon.
You're over 100. Heck yeah, affiliate coming soon.
Let's go.
But thank you all for setting us up. This has been awesome.
It's been wonderful to have you. Thank you so much. B, I don't think we have anyone online, so let me know what we should do for a raid.
Sure. Let's see. Who's a good bean that's on? It's gonna give us nice cozy energy after a good chat. Good chat.
Everyone be sure to follow Crub. We have dropped his links in the chat. If you don't know him, there's his Twitch link and his Twitter. Go check him out. It's been a joy to talk to him today, and I can't wait to learn more about this himbo paradise.
Okay, I think I have a recommendation. They've been streaming for a while, so hopefully they're not getting off anytime soon, but the vibes are good.
Okay.
I'll put it in the Discord for you, since I don't think I still have permission to start the raid.
I will change that today. I'm going to make it so anyway. Oh, yes, Lilith. Lilith is absolutely wonderful. Lilith is actually works with me in the It Gets Better Project Ambassador program, and their streams are very, very comfy and cozy. So I think that's a great choice.
That's awesome.
So let's go say hello to Lilith Fox. And does that work? It works. I believe we will be off next Sunday, friends. And so we will be back in 2 weeks with our next show.
Yes, Joopy and I are taking a piece of our own advice this year and trying to be a little bit better about making sure there's at least one weekend a month where we don't do the show, because we discovered doing the show every Sunday was a lot, as much as we love everyone and we love what we do here. So Thank you all for spending your time with us. We're always super heckin' honored that anybody and everyone who shows up and gives us their love, support, and energy. And I hope you all enjoy hanging out with Lilith, and we will see you all in 2 Sundays.
Bye, everyone. Have a good
Bye.
day.
Thanks for hanging out, chat.